Reality, it's one of my favorite questions and the biggest objection I ever get when I'm talking about being limitless, and especially in relation to the law of attraction, because people will say, well, you're saying that I can do anything, and yes, you can, but if you don't believe it, that's one aspect. But also, when you think of the reality, they'll say to me, but you don't understand. I want to improve my business, but the reality is the economy sucks right now. And I'm like, you know what? I can feel that really lighting something up within my belly. It makes me kind of cranky because I'm like, well, whose reality are we talking about? I don't give a crap about anyone else's reality. I don't give a crap about the media's reality. I don't give a crap about your best friend's reality. All I care is about your reality, because that's what you can adjust. So when I say, you've got to focus on creating your own reality, that is such a huge opportunity to release everyone else's reality. And I'm going to take it a little bit of a step further because, and this might be a little shocking to some people, reality is actually an illusion. The only reason that we are believing that there's an ocean there, and Harvard neuroscientists are currently proving this, is because as a mass consciousness, we believe that there's an ocean there. Now, there's a great example in that movie, What the Bleep Do You Know? And it was about how a shaman was looking out onto the ocean and he could see waves and ripples on the ocean. He's thinking, why is that happening? Because there's nothing there. But there were in fact ships, Columbus's ships out there. And he would say to people, the tribe, can you see what's going on? And none of them could see it because they'd never seen ships. That was not part of their reality. Then all of a sudden, something switched within him. He might have had a bigger consciousness shift, a bigger energy shift, so that he could see the ships. And when he told the others, he convinced them of that reality and they could all see them. So can you see what's happening when we're talking about reality? A lot of us are buying into someone else's reality. And I've got to say, the economy is one of my favorite reality checks, because a few years ago, I was at a human potential conference, we'll call it. And the president of the conference started the whole session off by going, I know it's tough times for everybody and things are really bad. And I thought, way to affirm it, buddy. Why would we want to say that to people? A human potential conference. And then we had to share within the table how the global financial crisis, the GFC, affected our businesses. And I thought, wow, this is fascinating. We're all focusing on what we don't want. And during the GFC, I made more money than I'd ever made in my entire career. And I knew lots of other people who'd done the same. And so I shared that with the table. Now, I'm a solopreneur, so I run a one-woman show with a lot of wonderful help out there. And I was with big corporates, and one of them was a rather large international airline. They said, oh yes, the GFC has really affected us quite badly. As I said, my feistiness came up, and I just sort of said to them, you know what, I think the GFC is the biggest well-publicized excuse for poor performance that I've ever seen. And they just looked at me, if looks could kill, I just thought, wow, I've not made friends with these. I don't need an upgrade on their airline, put it that way, because I wouldn't be getting it. And it was literally like cricket looking at me. And I turned to them and I said, so are you saying that before the GFC, you were performing really, really well? And they looked at me and they weren't really pleased with what I said. And then after like a few seconds when they thought about it, they said, you know what, you're right. We hadn't been overperforming before the GFC. It's just, I guess, a great bandwagon to sit on, because we've got to tell our stockholders, we've got to tell our managers, the CEO, of why we're not performing. And gee, isn't it a great excuse to hang your hat on? So whose reality is it? And I really implore everybody to think about what reality they want to create, because that is really the point of power. Don't buy into anyone else's reality ever again.